This is the lowest point on Earth, where everything ends, but for humanity, it all began. This is the lowest point on Earth. In the heart of a harsh desert, a lifeline that hasn't dried for 11,000 years, Jericho. Each layer of soil tells a 1,000-year story. Civilizations are sleeping beneath your feet, and it rises through the mist. The oldest massive man-made structure in the world. 22 steps descending into darkness. Where did these stairs lead? To protection or a ritual? They were the first masters to survive in a wild nature. When they found this oasis, the end of nomadism had come for humanity. They began to build not just a shelter, but a collective memory here. History was carved into stones and souls here for the first time. Welcome to the greatest mystery of human history, the world's first city, Jericho. Before civilization, in the Jordan Valley, 10,000 years before pyramids, life spreads across the land. Around 9,000 BCE, the Jordan Valley. Why did humans stay here? To the Levant, in the Jordan Valley. The Ice Age comes to an end. The world grows warmer. Food was already here. They returned to the same fields. They wandered for ages, but that night, the dark wasn't silent. Something was there. They didn't understand. They were afraid. Not every stone was the same. Together they were stronger. The stone was no longer just a stone. The wall stood. The wall wasn't enough. Something was missing. No one knew what it would become. Stone was placed upon stone. And for the first time, fear was controlled. A name was spoken. The first duty was chosen. He was no longer just a man. He was the first guard. The guard was alone. The sentry could feel the eyes watching him from the pitch-black darkness. This fear was very dangerous. The walls had to keep out not just wild animals, but the unknown as well. But the greatest fear came not from the outside, but from within. The line between life and death blurred for the first time in Jericho. They didn't let the dead go. They recreated them with clay. The tower was no longer just a lookout. It was a gateway. Those dull eyes began to watch the living at every moment. As resources dwindled, the peace protected by the walls turned bloody. Only the sound of stone and bone was heard. At sunrise, Jericho was no longer the same. The first city had become humanity's first prison. Jericho's greatest secret was not outside the walls or in the tower. It was right beneath the houses. They didn't bury their dead far away. They lived with them under the same roof, beneath their feet. But after a while, the graves were opened. The skulls were separated from the bodies. But after a while, the graves were opened. The skulls were separated from the bodies. Was it respect or an attempt to bring them back? They gave the skulls life again with clay. Cowrie shells were placed in the eye sockets. Now those voids had begun to look back again. These masked skulls were placed in the corner of the house, among the living. The world's first city was hosting the world's first spirit summoning rituals. Even 11,000 years later, these faces ask us the same question. Were they afraid of death, or did they want to rule it? Wild beasts, or enemy tribes? Jericho sealed its fears with walls. Harsh hunt outside, civilization inside. Who were these walls truly for? Jericho's people shut the world out. The greatest secrets lay underground. Silent guardians, plastered skulls. Their ancestors were still watching. Is this legacy from Quebec? The first portraits carved on bone. Why strive so hard to be remembered? Did the war with death begin here? A deep mystery at the world's lowest point. Jericho, mankind's first great trial. The locks of the past are opening. The mystery inside, the giant tower. 22 steps, the first stairs to heaven, a defense line, or a giant calendar. Salt from the Dead Sea, white gold. Obsidian and stones from distant lands. Wealth brought great threats with it. The city fell, but was never abandoned. New houses rose upon ancestral remains. Jericho, 20 layers of different lives. Humanity discovered property here. This ancient legacy still lives within us. The voices are fading. The fire no longer warms. Like life, those who are gone are missed. Those we miss are among us. Even those are missing. No one left to watch for. The walls no longer protect us. The traces remain. They built an 8-meter-high wall. They took them with them so they wouldn't forget their dead. They laid the foundation for modern agriculture. They hunted. Then one day, they left in small numbers. The rest with questions. They left us alone. Fear shapes life. And now we know that. They shaped death too. A vast history. 1/6 of the desert soil. She waited to enlighten us. They hid. They lived. They left. The next episode, Katal Yuk, the Cradle of Civilization.